Greetings and welcome to a hopefully kind of spooky episode of GT Live. I am Brandon Jones.
You bailed so fast! What? You bailed!
I bailed?
Yeah, you bailed!
I'm sorry. I'm Brandon Jones, and here is the disembodied spirit of Elise Willems, who's actually going to approve a video right now, but she will be joining us. And I have a special guest, Mr. Gerard Khalil, a.k.a. the Completionist, is joining us from the land of YouTube on the special Halloween week. Happy Halloween, sir.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Do you like Halloween? Are you a fan of Halloween?
I do love Halloween. I'm not as festive as I used to be, but I used to love trick-or-treating and all that stuff.
Well, Elise was mad at me because she didn't get dressed up because I literally had this costume like in my car, and I was like, oh, I might as well throw that on. And Mr. Michael Huber is joining us, dressed up as Mr. Michael Huber along with Kyle Bossman. We are playing Fatal Frame: Maiden of Black Water, which sounds like a Pirates film that I missed. It's like, what was the second Pirates film, Maiden of Black Water, I think? Which you've reviewed and have already played and are going back to a very specific point. I believe
couple random points.
Drop 2 is where we're starting out?
Yeah, chapter 2.
What do they mean by drops?
I don't know why they call them drops. And it's weird because there's a prologue and an interlude, but no epilogue. It's bizarre.
Is there like an item you got to pick up? Maybe the item was dropped and that's
I don't know.
Lots of questions. Hopefully we can answer them. We got Ian Hank in the controls. What's up, Ian?
Hi.
Do you like Halloween, Ian?
I love Halloween.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
I brought in some decorations. Ian decorated the place. We're doing a different color palette this time.
There's a hidden decoration. See if you can find it.
Maybe you'll get a code if you find the integration.
Sure, why not?
But we are giving away codes. Elise Willems will return, and she will go back through chat and find your questions that we can throw at the Completionist at the end of the episode. We are giving away 15 codes in total, 5 codes for each of these games: Grandia 2, Dokuro, and Republic. Republic, probably, right?
Republic,
They'll make it easy for you. Republic.
Yeah, easy.
So I don't know. You maybe question Chibi Weezy when she gets back. I don't know if she's just going to be throwing those codes out right and left, or if you can specify what game you would like out of those 3. Those are all Steam codes that you can play on your PS3, that you play on your PC rather, for fun games that are out. So there it is. Completionist, Fatal Frame. Those are the codes we are giving away, and then we will ask you. Get you in the hot seat for the last 20 minutes of the show and talk about crazy questions. But before we get into talking about Fatal Frame, which we're right in there, are you scared of these kind of? Do games make you scared?
I think when you play a game by yourself and the lights are all off, that's the moment to get scared. But when you're playing with friends, it makes it more fun. Like Until Dawn, I play with 3 of my good buddies, and we just played it together, and it made it so much more fun because you have to make all the decisions together. You're scared together. It's more of like a good time. But when you're by yourself, that's when it gets really intimidating.
Did you stream that experience of you playing Until Dawn?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you didn't capture it or anything. That was just for yourself.
I captured it. We did capture it for a video series. We're called the Scary Game Squad, so that's kind of thing we experienced together. But I did stream a little bit of Until Dawn online, and it's different. It's weird having the audience kind of dictate what your choices are in that game, just because
you don't have a lot of time.
You don't have a lot of time, and it's also like, is this the right choice? Is this the wrong choice? Should I listen to what people are saying in chat? Do I make my own selfish moves? But yeah, it was pretty fun.
I mean, it doesn't seem like there would be a way to win or lose that game, but you do want to keep as many people alive as possible. We kept many of them alive until literally the very last decision, where like we wiped out like the entire crew.
No.
I think like one of us made it out, and the rest of us were just a pile of burning bodies.
It was so sad. I put it up. See.
But it was kind of good. I was glad it got thrown in at the end. But there's a good question. I mean, you're recording so much, you're streaming so much. Do you spend more time playing games for your channel and for on Twitch and on YouTube and the like, or than you do just playing games for yourself?
I definitely play games more for work than I do for fun. It's kind of a rough balance, right? If you play games a lot and when you're doing it professionally, and then you go, okay, I want to play games for fun, you still feel like you're playing games for a living just because you're already in that mindset. And for me, being the completionist especially, that's something that I always take into account of, I get this like gamer guilt of like, I should be recording right now because this is what I do all the time.
See, for me, it's not even guilt. It's literally just that like Pavlovian response.
Yeah.
Yeah, where because when you capture stuff, you don't want clips to be huge. You don't want to capture like a 20-minute clip that you then have to like try to find the right parts of.
Yeah.
And so like just that like 2 to 3 to 5 minutes start and stop again. You know, it's like hard to like shake my brain out of that.
Every
and
15
realize,
minutes, check the capture, make sure it's not too big in file size. Yeah.
Like I'm playing MGS5 right now, which I didn't review, which we don't need to capture gameplay for anymore.
Yeah.
When I'll like restart a mission, I'll be like, oh, I should stop capturing. Wait a minute, that's right, not capturing. Are there games that you like to play by yourself? Are there is there a console you favor when you have time to play by yourself, or is it just like whatever else you can fit in that you didn't have time for?
I'm more of a console gamer than PC gamer. I do love the PC and everything that it has to offer, especially because it's so open source to so many different games out there. But I think if I had to pick one thing that I constantly play, probably my Wii U. I'm probably one of the few people that constantly uses their Wii U for everything, especially games like Shovel Knight and DuckTales Remastered. Just everything with the Wii U gamepad just seems so much more fun.
So
and
it's
interactive.
appropriate that we are playing a Wii U game here.
Yes, absolutely.
And not only a Wii U game, but a Wii U game that hopefully tries to capture the magic of the gamepad, the purpose of the gamepad, if you will, the reasoning behind the gamepad.
Kind of.
I saw someone in chat, address you as Mario. You put Mario Maker in the middle of your name. Have you been playing lots of Mario Maker?
Yeah, I've kind of, the Game Grumps have played a lot of my levels in Mario Maker, and I'm pretty notorious for making really hard levels in Mario Maker. To the point where I get thousands of messages a day of people being very angry with me. I think I'm like in the top 15 on the creator board.
You think?
I think so.
That's the kind of thing that just happens that you miss it, you don't see.
Well, it changes every week because I'm not making new levels like I used to. Although I will be now that there's a checkpoint system coming out.
Right.
That's super exciting.
Well, for some people, like Dan Reichert's pissed. Like, no.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Where's the fun in that?
I'm definitely gonna make even more harder levels now, even just because of the checkpoint. It's like, oh, you made it halfway. Great. Now the real fun begins.
Did you know that was coming? Because I'm sensing a Nintendo fan vibe from you.
Really?
Yeah. When you first heard of Mario Maker, did you know that was going to be a game you're going to put a lot of time into, or because I didn't. I was like, really, that's it? For Q3, Q4, like at the end of the year, Nintendo, like that's going to be one of your biggest games.
So I've been playing on my Let's Play channel, Super Beard Bros. I've been playing this game called Kaizo Mario. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, so Kaizo Mario, a few years ago, these two Japanese guys, one guy said, oh, you know what? I think Mario games are easy. And his friend goes, no, they're really hard. And he goes, well, I'll make you a really hard Mario game. So he took Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo and made this original game called Kaizo Mario. And it's one of the hardest Mario games I've ever played. And on a whim, my friend Alex said, oh, you should play it and see how far you get. And it was such an adrenaline rush of playing a hard Mario game, using save states to kind of get your way through pieces of this really hard Mario game. It got to the point where we ended up playing the whole game, and all of our audience loved it. And then they told us, oh, there's a Kaizo 2 and a Kaizo 3. And so right when we were finishing Kaizo 3, we kind of looked at the timeline of how long it was going to take us, and we saw Mario Maker was right around the corner. And so we both said, you know what, this is going to be a big celebration. Once we're done with Kaizo 3, we're just going to play nothing but fan-created levels of Super Mario Maker. And so I personally have been playing. It's the one game I've been playing nonstop since it came out. Not so much from the creating level side, but mostly from, I'm playing all these levels that fans have been. My Twitter feed is nothing but Mario Maker level codes every day.
Did Kaizo prepare you for the hazards that you would face?
Yeah.
How does that game stack up between the stuff that you've played?
Mario Maker does not include a lot of the intricacies that Kaizo Mario has, mostly because I don't think Nintendo was trying to make this really impossible Mario game, but it definitely shares a lot of the same elements. Kaizo still has this, spinning on saws and juggling Yoshis and avoiding billets and the charging chucks. There's all these crazy things, but Mario Maker has just enough to make it just as interesting, if not more. Especially now, there's fun things like checkpoints and what was the other thing? Oh, event levels and
The block.
Yeah,
Where'd you come from?
Well, I heard Mario Maker discussion coming on, and so I thought I'd join in.
Police Wilms!
Kyle wants me to do that voice
as much as possible.
Oh, can you do it for Kyle?
Kyle Bossman!
It's Don Pardo. It's so funny.
But yeah, like so if you're small Mario, you'll get the super
mushroom.
and if you're big Mario, you'll get the fire flower.
I love those details though. Those are because when you play Mario games, especially when you're playing Mario Maker, you go, "Oh, I used to be able to do that. I used to be able to have that." And so I'm glad that they're kind of going backwards and giving us checkpoints and power-ups like that. It's really fun.
So just to steer the conversation back to you before we talk about Fatal Frame just a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I want cleared up.
Sure.
You reference yourself as the Dragon Rider.
Yes.
Just curious where that came from.
So the Dragon Rider, Gerard Dragon Rider Khalil, when I first started YouTube, I wanted people to remember me just as something really bizarre. The kind of thing where it's like, oh, this is his name, and then I never address it ever again kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm Gerard Dragon Rider Khalil, and then I move on. And it all started from a buddy of mine hacked my Facebook page and changed my middle name to Dragon Rider. And I never, for some weird reason, he hid my middle name on Facebook, so I never saw it. And so for a year and a half, it said Gerard Dragon Rider Khalil when you visited my Facebook page. And one day, my dad, he doesn't know how to use Facebook, but he has a very thick Lebanese accent. And he just goes, "Why are you the Dragon Rider?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "On Facebook, you're the Dragon Rider. I see you're the Dragon Rider." I go, "What are you going on about?" And so I checked, and it said Gerard Dragon Rider in air quotes. And so around that time was when I started the Completionist, and I said, I'm just going to leave it and just see if anyone notices. And Facebook actually left it alone until about 6 months ago. They finally were like, "Your name's not Dragon Rider," and they took it away from me. But that's kind of the origin of the Dragon Rider name.
So you started out on YouTube before you were the Completionist.
Yes.
Was the Completionist something that was an idea that you always had in the back of your head, or did you just kind of sit down one day and try to figure out like I want to kick this channel up a notch and like have a specific goal?
Yeah. So the Completionist is my fourth and final YouTube show that I was attempting to do back in the day. I had done 3 other shows prior, and none of them really took off or had any clout or anything. And I was in college at the time, so a lot of workshopping original shows and programming, and I just couldn't figure out how YouTube worked back then. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I met Ego Raptor and JonTron, who are both really good friends of mine. I had them over at my house one day, and they kind of were talking about their YouTube experiences. And I kind of said, what makes me different from them? Why don't I have the same audience or that kind of stuff? And it kind of came down to what they talked about and what they loved. And that's something that was missing from my shows. I never got to talk about anything I really loved. And at the time, I was working at Best Buy full-time, selling video games to people. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to do a YouTube show about games, games that I love, games that everyone should love and know. And so I kind of asked myself, what can I do that no one else is really doing? And sure enough, I went into YouTube and I searched the Completionist, and there was nothing. And I've just kind of been a completionist by heart, just over the years of my gaming experiences. And there was one guy named the Completionist, but that was his YouTube channel, and he uploaded a video once every 6 or 7 months, and he was like an engineer from Alaska, so I didn't think he was going to be upset if I started this show.
Little did you know.
He actually was
hunted you down.
He was pretty supportive when he found out. He was commenting and interacting with fans and such, so he was a really good sport. But
we should have had him on, man.
Yeah.
just fly him up from Alaska.
The original artists. I don't know this remake nonsense.
Imposter.
Yeah, so I did the first episode on Mega Man X, and it just blew up, and I've been doing it. I think I hit 4 years in September. So
congratulations!
Thank you.
You've been blowing up ever since.
Yeah, it's been a long journey.
Is this something you want to keep doing? Is this?
Yeah. I've been wanting to do other more regional programming. I have a show called Defend It where it's like Phoenix Wright meets the courtroom scene.
I love the graphics for that.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah. And so that's kind of I'm a storyteller at heart. I went to school for film and acting and writing and directing, so that's kind of been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And doing shows like Defend It kind of give me those opportunities. And I do dumb things in the Completionist every now and then that are like, like Gerard gets possessed by a demon, just like random dumb things like that. I kind of strayed away from that and focused more on the core of what the games are. And I love doing it. The hardest thing however, is the schedule. Because I am doing one game a week in real time every single week. So Friday I pick a game, I complete 100%. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday I write the script. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I'm voiceovers and editing and graphics and jokes. Friday the episode comes out, and then I pick a brand new game and I start over and over and over again.
So but you got to pick the right game. So you got to know. I mean, has
Yeah.
that system ever failed you? Have you ever just like not finished a game or just like apologize to your fans like, this didn't work out or?
Well, I tell you what, I haven't missed a Friday schedule. Whether it's a completionist or a defended or a top 10, I've always released a video in some fashion that is of high quality, at least that I feel that matches that of the completionist.
You got to miss deadlines. We do it all the time. It feels good, you know. it just kind of release. You know what I mean?
We've kinda made it our thing.
Embargo's deadlines, like they're just, you know. That's like the beginning of the 2000s. You know, we're in a whole new decade now, man. Okay, it's amazing. It's really admirable, and I think that's something that sends a really good message to up and coming YouTubers, people that are your fans that are just like, wow, this guy sticks to a really a tough
I
schedule.
think
It's like
Side B's got something.
Side
what?
B.
I'm called Side B?
You know what you are.
What you
Talk Side
What are you
B.
chirping, Side B?
Well, I just want to know how, like, you're your own boss. How do you stay motivated? How do you hit that deadline every time?
Oh man,
Real side B question.
Here's
Classic Side B.
okay. This is gonna sound really stupid, but this is like legitimately sometimes how I think. Do you guys used to watch wrestling at all?
Yes.
Okay, so
You
even
got
like
Huber's attention.
even like Attitude Era kind of stuff, right? There's always like The Rock who has the championship, and every week he has to wrestle to defend it. In my mind, as the completionist, I feel like every episode of my show is me putting my title on the line. And so I have to prove to my audience, okay, this week I completed this game and I did it in X amount of hours, X amount of time. That's how I'm going to stay motivated. I'm going to defend my title as the completionist. Because at this point, I'm the only one that's kind of has this title on YouTube, right? I'm kind of the one that has it now. And so every week is a struggle to keep that title, which let me tell you, there's been many times where I've said, maybe I can just take a break or just not do it this week. But it's really high, a lot of pressure, a lot of stakes all the time. But somehow I'm still managing to do it. So
So is Fatal Frame, the Maiden of Blackwater, a game that you would want to complete? What would be the completion standard for a game like this?
all
Is it-
S ranking,
all S ranking on
all
every
S ra-
mission?
Yeah, S
S
plus.
plus?
Okay.
So intense.
S plus, getting all items, all costumes, all weapons, everything upgraded. If there's a hard setting, beating it on the hardest setting, or expert, or
Yeah.
one life
Nightmare
challenges, nightmare mode. Yeah, every game before I even start, I have to look at my sanity and if I can do it in a week, and also just, is this feasible in the time? I just did Triforce Heroes last week, and I did it alongside two of my friends, and we sat down for 3 or 4 days straight. I think we did 22-hour gaming sessions where we were playing every single level, every single challenge, everything. 22 hours. We were doing 22 hours. We'd nap to the next day for a few hours, wake up, and do it again and again and again. And I finished Triforce Heroes Friday morning when my review came out. The review came out at noon. I was done at 10 a.m. So I was capturing shots at the last minute, getting all that completionist goodness out of the way. Because you never know if you missed something. You never know if, I might have missed something. I need to finish the
Right.
game to make sure that.
Has
that
a game
it's
ever
on.
come back to haunt you? Have you ever like completed a game, moved on, and then a month later, like, oh no?
Yeah, Dark Souls 2. That was a recent one. I didn't know about. Apparently, in Dark Souls 2, if you beat the game without using a bonfire, you get 2 special rings that make you invisible and make your weapon invisible, or it makes your outfit invisible. So it looks like you're just a guy in underwear, but really you're wearing the best gear. I had
Oh,
no
the,
idea
like,
that
orange
existed,
thing?
and so now I have to go back and.
That's crazy.
I wish I could not do it, but I have to do
Yeah.
it because people.
That's
You have
the
to-
whole game without dying once, basically.
Yeah.
I
So you're gonna
saw-
get to
And
that
no
last boss
bonfires,
and
no-
die, and
no-
then you gotta.
I saw on your last countdown you apologized to people because you felt like there were mistakes you made with Dark Souls,
Yeah.
weird nuanced nitpicky stuff like pronunciations and things like that. Do you feel like you have a responsibility to do that? Because I felt like it was really nice of you to do that. I would have been like fuck these people. I don't give a shit. But you were really sincere and kind about it.
I've learned to roll with the punches. I think that there are moments where I need to step up and apologize for things I've messed up on. I mean, I'm human, right? There's going to be moments where
Yeah.
I miss things. In Triforce Heroes, I said specifically I might miss a costume or two because I'm beating it before anyone else gets the opportunity to beat it, so I don't know if there's things I'm going to be missing. But I think that when you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. You have to react to how the community is reacting. I got an overwhelming response of negative feedback of people saying, oh, you missed these things in Dark Souls 2, which to me is kind of like, me not doing my homework. I that's my fault for not really knowing that. And again,
You're taking the SAT every week, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like you're busting your ass, and then people are like, "You didn't get the Pharaoh."
Yeah, but I think there are moments where I can accept those battles, and there are moments where I just have to say, you know what, I think I'll let this one slide. And with Dark Souls 2, I kind of had to put my foot down and go, okay, I messed up. I'm gonna do it. Just give me some time, because doing a game a week, I can't go back and do that, or else it's going to mess up my whole schedule.
So this your job is basically just going to shut your body down one day. It's literally like you're going to be working on something.
I'm aging at an accelerated
nope,
rate.
like,
yeah, I'm becoming older way faster.
I'm 15 years old, actually.
Eventually, I'm going to have to, hang up the belt, if you will. But for now, it's adrenaline rush. I love it. I love seeing people.
And when you crash and burn, if you're streaming, think of the views. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, that would be really great. If you just have a complete nervous breakdown,
absolutely.
I think that'll work really well for you.
Oh, yeah, great. Especially because at that point, it'll just say some bearded homeless guy crashes on stream. Perfect.
So we're good. 21 minutes into the show. I want to talk really quickly about our countdown for this week. It is a scary week. We are doing a list that I've actually been kind of intimidated by, that we've never done before. We have done scariest games. We actually did it twice. We did it a long time ago, and then we revisited it again recently. We've never done scariest moments. And I've been nervous about doing scariest moments because it's like, your scariest moment's different from my scariest moment. Like,
it's subjective.
Did this game scare you at all, Huber? Like, were you ever scared playing Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater?
Yell at this game. In his cubicle, he would shout at this game.
Yeah, like a couple times in the first couple hours. And then,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And then just repetition.
Yeah,
seeing the same ghost over and over again.
Yeah, it loses steam.
So it just seemed to be something I thought, like, if you tell the staff, like, okay, scariest moments, like one person would suggest something that like none of us know, and so we all kind of have to take your word for it. But it was a really interesting conversation, actually, and everybody brought up really interesting picks. And it was interesting to rank them based on, not only like how much we were actually scared at the time, but like looking back, I mean, something like, spoilers, the dogs jumping out of the window from Resident Evil is on the list somewhere. Like I'll spoil that one at least. But it's really interesting, I'm writing that entry, and it's interesting really analyzing that, really looking at like the beginning of the game up to that point and all the scares that were after, and just kind of aesthetically compared to like other games at the time, like why that worked so well and why, it might not grab you now if you go back and play it with just like these super boxy looking characters, and like I think the one thing that struck me about replaying Resident Evil, after so many years was how bright everything was. Like you play the remake and it's just like all the lights are off, or everything's, just like this, just super saturated.
Even the voice acting.
Oh, the voice acting. Oh yeah, of course.
Jill, come back.
But there were 10 scary moments that we were fans of, but unfortunately one did not make the list. And I am actually going to talk about it specifically because it is a game that I love, which is Dead Space. And number 11 is the beginning of Dead Space, your introduction to the USS Ishimura. And of course, you get on board and you have all of these people that are with you that are just, looking at them through this glass, you're like, they're dead. I'm losing all of these guys. Two of them actually make it out. The only one who actually is killed in this moment is the poor guy in front of you that just does not notice that this thing drops down to the ceiling behind him. But it's great. I actually the footage that you're watching right now, I actually captured right before the show. I went back and replayed the beginning of it. And for a horror game, you just mentioned, Huber, that it got you in the beginning, and then after a while, you kind of got desensitized to it. And this not only happens in the beginning. This is like within 10 minutes of you like getting into this game, and even like classic Resident Evil games, like they take a little while, to introduce you to stuff. And I like that they throw a necromorph right at you. You have no way to defend yourself. Like you're not even familiar with the buttons. They just kind of throw this thing at you. You get a nice little jolt here, rushing into the elevator. I think the Dead Space series got a little more action oriented as it went on. 2 was kind of a divisive game for people. 3 was pretty much panned by the masses. But the first one I think just had really clever moments, and I really like, and it's still graphically it still holds up for being. I played this on the Xbox 360. But this was one. We had, of course, some other scary moments that didn't make the list that came up in conversation. But this one seemed close. This is one that kept coming up. Like, do we want to kick this off the list or do we want to keep it on there? Scary moments that you remember.
You said Dead Space. I'm going to say Dead Space 2. After no spoilers, obviously, but that moment where you're finally in control of oh god, is it Desmond? Is that his name? No, it's Isaac. Thank you. God, I think there's
Desmond's, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It
Isaac. There's that moment where he's being interviewed in the very beginning, and he starts seeing the hallucinations, and then it's like. It cuts to the moment where it's like, oh, get out of here, you have to run, and then like the necromorph just like picks apart that guy. You're literally in chains, just like, dear God, and you just sprint. That's one of my favorite. I think one of my favorite scary moments from scary games.
Last week we did our top 10 creepy kids, and I don't know if it's a preschool or a kindergarten or the nursery from Dead Space 2 was in there.
The little
bulbous giggling children
yes.
that would explode.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
There's lots of fun gems in Dead Space. I think one of my favorite moments from creepy moments from Dead Space 2 that maybe conceived as a spoiler, but you don't know which one it is if you were to go back and play the game now. But you keep typing in these door panels over and over and over and over and over again. And I think like the 50-second one that you go to operate, some guy opens up a door and comes in and grabs you.
Yeah.
And I love it when games like that set up something procedurally that you have to do so many times, and then you're just expecting. You're like, oh, I've just done that. I've flicked on my flashlight. I've picked up objects before. No big deal.
Until Dawn does that really well. There's a lot of moments in Until Dawn where you're like, oh, this for sure can't do anything wrong, and then just boom, right there for a quick second.
Killing the squirrel is gonna have any repercussions. Kyle Bossman.
Wolfie! Monsters.
I love that I played. Yeah, poor Wolfie. I love that I played. But Kyle, made an express decision to kill that squirrel, whereas I did everything I could to save that damn dog. I jumped down the hole, and the dog could have jumped after me. That's all I'm saying. And the dog followed me up until that point. He decided not to jump down. It's Wolfie's fault.
He acts out of fear. He's afraid. That's why he does these.
No, if
he's
I recall correctly, Blood was just like, no, they're trying to teach you a lesson here. Don't do it. And I'm like, come on.
So you're cool. You're a cool guy.
I'll shoot that squirrel every time. I will drown 100 squirrels before I scare one girl.
But do you know what happens though? The results of that what the squirrel does?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I guess
we joked about it, and then it came true.
Well, so the whole thing was in Until Dawn, if you make the decision to harm nature, later on in the game, Sam, who Hayden Panettiere, she gets attacked by a crow. And the crow gives her the scar on the face, and so when you're running from a monster later on, usually you have an option to like turn off the flashlight and hide, but because you attacked nature and that nature attacked back, she's like focused on healing the wound, and because she was focused on that, she doesn't turn off the flashlight, which gets her caught. So by shooting the squirrel and messing up nature, you actually kind of do this whole butterfly effect thing, which is the whole point of the game, obviously.
I regret nothing.
Well, we played a bunch of scary games Monday night. I played Undead Nightmare from Red Dead Redemption. I was doing the Sasquatch mission, and your heart was breaking, Kyle. You were like, "Don't harm the poor Sasquatches," and yet you're just like, ripping up squirrels right and left.
I don't recall the squirrel saying, "Oh, you killed all of the other remaining squirrels who are alive.
So
Go ahead and shoot me."
So when squirrels speak English, that's when you will have sympathy for squirrels.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Huber, was there anything that didn't make our countdown? You're a fan of scary games. Any scary moments that you recollect? Not a lot of Resident Evil showed up on that list, actually. I believe there were a couple entries.
Don't worry, we got a couple
entries. You know what they are. But just any other memorable Resident Evil scares?
No, but Ravenholm from Half-Life 2 was a big one.
That's right. That was a number 11. Number 12, Ravenholm from Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
That was tough because I think one of the reasons Ravenholm didn't make it on there was like a lot of these other ones were like that moment. I mean, like the babies from Dead Space 2 are like a kind of a scene, but like you can really kind of slice that one particular moment. Whereas like Ravenholm's kind of a whole level. It's tough to pick like that one specific guy that ran up that one pipe that I didn't shoot first with a shotgun and had to get attacked by a couple times.
Yeah.
Ian, any picks that we missed?
Yeah, mine. Just because it's so inexplicable and bizarre, the one I wanted was in Silent Hill 4, I think. You walk into a room and the camera's at the back of the room, and then halfway through the room the camera cuts to the other side and there's just a gigantic face of the woman you're looking for just sitting there, and her eyes like follow you wherever you go, and they're all like twitchy. it's just so weird and huge that you just can't. You could not see
Until
that
Dawn
coming.
is a moment like that, actually, where like a face emerges from a wall, and
Yeah.
like it is, just like giant faces is
man.
pretty
Faces
creepy.
are scary.
I like the Freddy Krueger worm from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where he like comes up out of the
Yeah.
floor, big Freddy face.
Yeah.
Layers of Fear, which I played with you, has like
Layers of Fear.
There's a
is
door. There's a door you open
fantastic.
up and like there's like big doll face, baby face.
Fur boy.
Is it Furboy in it? Is it his face in the door?
No.
Oh.
There's a room where you
He's got Fur Boy in
you
the
open the
brain.
door and then Furboy painting is right there. So that can
alone is
spook you.
terrifying.
I don't remember if this one made the list. Did BioShock make the list?
BioShock did not make the list.
Oh, then the dentist from BioShock.
Yeah.
That's
Who sneaks
that's
up
what I
behind you?
wish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Layers of Fear
It's
actually has a
there.
kind of an homage to that,
Yeah.
but with a chair.
God. That damn wicker
Good stuff.
wheelchair.
Layers of Fear is such a great
Yeah,
game.
it really is fantastic, and we haven't technically played it yet because it's just in early access now.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait.
yeah, you can get a little tease of that game if you want. I recommend it. We are at the midpoint of the show. Unfortunately, I would have loved to pick a scary trailer for a badass trailer this week, but Star Wars is just too awesome. I was thinking maybe of Rush of Blood, which is the Until Dawn DLC. But that trailer's awful. And I can't, in good faith, give an awful trailer the moniker of a badass trailer. Star Wars Battlefront had their launch trailer. So if it was just another trailer, I'd be like, well, maybe I'll do, Uncharted 4 multiplayer. But like, this is it. This is the crowning, this is the pinnacle of the Star Wars Battlefront campaign, which has been pretty damn good. And I got the Star Wars feels in this. I think it's pretty badass. Check it out.
It is unavoidable. We will witness the destruction of the Alliance and the end of this insignificant rebellion.
Soldiers of the Rebel Alliance, this is our most desperate hour. You are our only hope. Focus your attack on the walker.
For the rebellion.
Don't get in my way.
Shield up!
That won't happen again. Prevent the walkers from reaching the space.
Your victory will be short-lived.
Now it's my turn. All wings, blast them into submission. May the Force be with us.
Your pathetic rebellion ends here.
So badass with the creepy wipe. Coming back. Coming back with a creepy wipe. I saw people in chat saying I love my Star Wars. I do. And there will not be another. I will make a promise right now. No more Star Wars Battlefront trailers on GT Live. That was their launch trailer. They're done. That's it. We are going to score that trailer this week, though, Kyle, if you're available tomorrow. I love to score that because there's some good stuff in there. The Han Solo reveal. I love how they do transitions between different scenes, but not like super special effect heavy transitions. Just like TIE Fighter blows up here, going into TIE Fighter blowing up on Tatooine, going into Endor. Great
Formal
transitions,
edits.
great voiceover. What's up?
Those are called formal edits.
Formal edits.
Yeah.
All the other edits are just like po' boy edits.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
just like McDonald's edits, where those are
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
fancy
it's like
restaurant
anything that's
edits.
like thematically linked or directly linked, like
yeah.
you cut from a dad putting on his tie to the grown man of the son putting on a tie, something like that. It's formal edit.
I mean, shouldn't they all be formal edits?
It
You know?
depends.
Like,
That's
should
not the right
like if you're
camera.
editing and you're just like, whatever. I mean, there's this shot and this shot, but they don't have anything to do with each
Here's
other.
a good example of a formal edit.
How many formal edits have you How many formal edits have you seen in the Fatal Frame so far? Was there a formal edit leading into this sunset shot?
I don't think so.
No?
No, it was
No.
a
Context.
crossfade.
Yeah.
It's a crossfade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kyle, any updates?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo's new membership service will be called Nintendo Account. It will connect hardware users as well as PC and smart device users.
They nailed it.
Nintendo account. Woof. Boy, is that exciting.
Nintendo account.
Just to explain to everyone what's happening, Nintendo is having their investor meeting right now in Japan, where it's the morning time tomorrow.
And you want updates on this as soon as they happen, right?
Yeah, so I'll be shouting.
He
those
doesn't want
out.
that update.
Yeah.
He wants other updates. Thank you, Kyle. So yeah, so what do you? I mean,
Sorry, Nintendo account. That's
that's a bad name.
Yeah, I think that's like your NNID right now. I think that's going to be just called your Nintendo account.
gotcha. It just seems so. What was wrong with Club
Nintendo count.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I was making a Halloween reference, not a
That ain't
Sesame Street
bad.
reference.
I took it as Sesame Street. I was like, 1 DS, 2 DS, 3 DS.
Two screens. Oh boy. What the hell are we talking about? Okay. You make videos on the YouTubes.
I do on the YouTubes.
We also do stuff on the YouTubes. We got that website we gotta manage and take care of.
Yeah.
So we're
Sorry,
good luck.
it's actually just one. It's called YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
one.
Just the
Same
one.
Oh,
YouTube?
it's a single.
Well, wait.
tube.
Well, hold on. But now there's gonna be two YouTubes, right? Because you got the YouTube.
Okay.
And you got the Red. Oh, excuse me. YouTube,
YouTube
Red.
Red.
But that's not
so
a
there's-
separate tube.
It's not a separate tube.
It's a whole new
No,
tube.
You
it's
can
just
upgrade
a
your
tube.
tube.
It's an upgraded tube that you pay for, and there's less ads flowing through the tube at the same time as you.
Oh, so you seem to have the whole thing figured out, Ian? Because it
I
doesn't
got-
seem like most people do.
I have an intrinsic understanding of tubes.
You got the terrible twos. So you guys.
Terrible tubes.
I do have a terrible tube.
So I don't expect you to know everything about what YouTube has up their sleeve, nor do I want you to communicate on how this is going to affect your business or what plans that you're going to have.
Give us
moving
the
forward.
numbers.
But how do you feel about that? I mean, just kind of what was your gut reaction when that was announced?
At first, I thought it was a good move. I think that people are using ad block. They're already using services that are prohibiting users from or creators from making money off of their YouTube videos. I think that having the free trial happen in the month of November is a really bad move. November and December are the two busiest months of the year for YouTubers. It's where we make a lot of our living and money. And to give you an idea,
YouTubers or gaming YouTubers specifically?
both.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're a gaming YouTuber, that's kind of where you're getting, if you're doing Call of Duty videos and you get Black Ops ads, then, you're in a good zone because that's double dipping in monetization. But it's the biggest time of the year. The fourth quarter is the best quarter for YouTubers and really most companies. But to kind of have YouTube Red ready to go so early on, I think is a bad move. I think that they should have waited to January, February, where content creators are kind of shifting back to getting in the swing of creating regular content, not necessarily premiumized content. They should have given us more of a personal warning as content creators because, we're pulling out all the stops to make the best videos we can in the months of October, November, and December. And so, knowing that everyone's going to have an opportunity to basically have a free month of adless YouTube to then kind of be distributed amongst watch time is really hard. If we want to talk about numbers real quick, this service is $10 a month, and it's based off of total ads or total watch time. So if I am a young boy and I'm subscribed to PewDiePie and Markiplier and game trailers, most of my time is going to be spent watching game trailers and Markiplier, but not so much PewDiePie. And based on that kid's watch cycle, YouTube's going to determine, okay, he spent most of the time watching game trailers, so game trailers is going to make 45% of that $10 split, and then Markiplier is getting about 30% of that because that's where the rest of the time, when the other 30% or 20% went to PewDiePie. And that all sounds fine and dandy, but then you realize that most people who watch YouTube now use it as a large platform of entertainment like Netflix, which means that they're going to watch thousands of YouTube channels whenever they want all the time. So that split of 23% is going to be more like 3 or 4%. So that means that your average YouTuber that you love and you care about is going to make maybe 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. And unless this YouTube Red thing has millions of subscribers or people using it, and the premium AdSense involved that makes sense for them, then that's great. But that percentage is going to be very low for I'd say the middle tier and lower tier YouTubers. And I think that the big guys are going to be just fine regardless of what happens, but it's kind of everyone in that middle tier to lower tier. Technically, I'm in that middle tier class, so it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens. Most YouTubers are very much against this, and it seems like the more information that YouTube provides everyone, the more confused everyone's getting, because
Yeah.
they've already released 3 statements today that no one knows what it means or what they're inferring by it.
I can't figure it out because it's like you said, like these advertisers in the last quarter of the year, they're pumping out all their ad budget into these ads served, but then it's like, well, YouTube's gonna match these ads, but how are they gonna know if they were matching premium ads versus regular ads served? Like, who knows? I don't understand really how it works. I'm pretty confused.
Yeah,
myself.
and I guess it's something that Twitch has been around, right? Twitch has been doing that for a year plus now, but most of Twitch's service has been subscriber based. It's been about badges and subscribers and donations. So really, AdSense on Twitch doesn't really matter. So that platform makes sense. YouTube, however, is 100% driven by ads. So what's going to happen? It's really a big question mark for a lot of people. I know that. Boogie's been pretty active about, letting everyone know how he feels, and a lot of YouTubers are joining that. We want to voice our opinion, but at the end of the day, there's only so many of us, and YouTube is kind of the one controlling everything here. So I want to say things are going to be good, but we really have no idea. We won't really know until probably January or February and how it really affects us.
But I mean, it is a bottom line issue. It is really getting into specific percentages and explaining the process and everything like that. The idea, the all-encompassing like umbrella concept is good, is acceptable.
Absolutely.
Might not be the best, of all possible worlds, but like is something that will hopefully work out eventually once we get all the kinks worked out. Do you think that the community can be vocal enough that they can make their voices heard, and that we can maybe not see policy changes within months after this being implemented, but eventually within time it'll be in obviously in YouTube's best interest to make their creators happy?
I mean, look at Google Plus, right? They just announced a few months ago that Google Plus is finally being removed from YouTube. I mean, that was after thousands of people complaining globally that Google Plus was the worst thing that happened to YouTube. I think that YouTube will have to approach that bridge where they're going to have to make content creators happy in that regard somehow. And more importantly, their audiences, because we have a duty to our audience to represent the best version of us, and we can't do that if it's not paying the bills, unfortunately. I know a lot of people have Patreon. I have Patreon, and it's great, but honestly, I would rather not have Patreon. I'd rather just do what I do and let my fans enjoy what I do, and same for them for free or for 2 minutes and 30 seconds of an ad. But it really all kind of depends on what big YouTube wants to do. We all kind of have to live by what they say and go with the punches. It really sucks, but that's kind of what it is.
I guess it is weird because it's not like the government, like dropping laws about how streaming prices need to be done.
Right.
It's just this dumb company, and they're one website, like there are other websites. It's just it has to be this one because it's the biggest.
Well, let me ask you guys this, and all you guys can answer this if you want. If you could pay $15 a month to watch YouTube ad free, would you?
No.
No.
It wouldn't really matter to me.
Wouldn't really matter, right? I mean, you guys on Game Trailers, you have ads on your site, ad on your platform. You understand the importance of ad relevancy and why it's very important to have that.
I also watch a lot of YouTube at work because I'm watching other people's stuff, and so like if I bring up an ad, it's just like I'll just go back to my email for 30 seconds. I don't care, I'll just occupy my time with something else.
Multiple tabs is a brilliant thing in the web browser. You have Twitter, you have email, you have Facebook. Oh, an ad's playing on a YouTube video. Let me click away. The ad's playing, and then you go back to what you were doing on YouTube, and you're fine.
Mr. Hank.
The crazy thing to me about YouTube Red is I have it without intentionally having it because I subscribe to Google Play Music Unlimited, which is $10 a month, and it gives you YouTube Red also. So like I have it without knowing that I had it. So it says under my name now YouTube Red, and before it was Music Key, which is like the pre-rollout of this. So it's really weird. So it's like Google subscription extends into all this stuff. It's crazy. So I pay for it unintentionally.
I want Google to own everything of me someday. Like I just
Yeah.
want
I got Google
upload
legs.
me. Upload me.
Google eyeballs.
Can I do this just in hot report?
Yes. Better be hot.
Nintendo, no, it's hot. Nintendo has delayed its mobile games to March 2016.
Oh.
Subsequently, its stock has redropped.
Oh.
No.
They're just like, it's not ready yet. Our mobile game isn't ready.
So they just didn't say anything?
Announce it.
Yeah, they didn't announce a
Oh
thing.
no.
That's
Ready.
it.
They
Oh,
announced
no.
a non-announcement.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
So the event was to announce Nintendo account and to say that they're not announcing a game.
I
Yeah.
just want to take the hat off.
Thanks, man. In trouble.
We've been cutting into chat time. We want to get to people's questions.
Oh, yeah.
And give out some codes. Looks like you got some questions there.
I have a ton.
Chibi Wheeze.
Swordfish wants to know what's the hardest game that you've 100%.
That's a tough
You
question.
don't have that ready? You don't just have the
your
that
notes,
doesn't
check your
just haunt
notes.
you. Breathe down your
you
neck
guys,
wherever you
ever
go.
play the game Catherine for PS3 and 360?
Yes.
That game
Love it.
is phenomenal. One of my favorite games ever.
Also on Creepy Kids. Also
Yeah.
on
Oh,
Creepy Kids.
absolutely.
Definitely
Yeah.
Creepy
Child.
Kid. The child.
That game. Oh, that child. Wow. That's a boss in itself.
I like the butt monster.
Yeah.
That's myself. That's my personal favorite.
The legs. It's so weird. That game is really hard. It expects you to. Because Catherine is a competitive game about climbing, right? But you look at it and you have to go in hard mode when there's no retries. You have to tell yourself, oh, I have to just be good at creating stairs out of nothing, and certain blocks do this, and you might die on this block or a spike or explosion. So Catherine definitely has been the hardest game. I did that early on, like episode 14 or 15. If I did that now, I think I'd cry because I wouldn't have the patience for it.
Did you see Run for Your Life, Huber? Were you in? That was just that encounter was not worth it.
Yeah.
Is that
bailed.
character from other Namco properties, like Dead or Alive or something?
Yeah, it's Ayami or
Ayami?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ayami.
That's a
Don't
costume
want to get
or
my
a skin?
Tenchu and my
We're actually-
Dead or Alive characters confused.
I'd
It's a,
recognize that
it's
butt
like a
crack
minigame.
anywhere.
It's a bonus campaign.
Second quest.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Context. All right.
This is
More
from
questions.
Chumblykins. Do you have a favorite gaming fan theory?
A
Or
favorite
fan gaming theory, I
fan
suppose.
gaming theory.
Theory gaming fan.
That's such a hard. You know what I will say though, and this is for me to fanboy all over you guys. Pop Fiction is the best show ever created.
Oh.
Pop Fiction. I love. Did I?
Mr. Damiani, who created Pop Fiction, is no
He
longer
couldn't
with
be
Game
here
Trailer.
tonight.
no.
And thus
Couldn't
neither
be
is
here
Pop
tonight.
Fiction. But you're not wrong, sir. Pop Fiction's a damn fine show.
Everything that came out of Pop Fiction, like all the theories, like legitimately.
But I think, speaking to a YouTuber, I mean,
Yeah.
can you accept that name? Is
Yeah,
that your-
that's fine. Yeah,
you wear that badge?
Whenever like people who don't know what YouTube is ask, I just say I'm a games journalist, and they go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that one, I
yeah.
arrived at that a couple years ago. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. I think out of everyone that has come and gone through the Game Trailers halls over the years, I think Michael Damiani is the most YouTuber of all of us. I think he was the one that really embodies that. I mean, for better or worse, really embodies that. Just kind of like, okay, I'm going to take this stuff and I'll see you in a week. Like, all right. But I mean, he would produce, Timeline. I worked on our Metal Gear Solid retrospective with him, and that was one of the most rewarding projects that I'd worked on because he was literally like, I'm going to play all the games and I'm going to capture all the footage and I'll just hand it to you. I'll write all the scripts. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that sounds great. And I can just come in later and, do VO.
Oh,
and,
I'm
and
sorry
cut
for
and
the
stuff.
sore subject.
Well, they're still there. They're
Oh,
still there. You
yeah,
can still
yeah.
watch them on our site. It is still a good show. The quality hasn't
Oh,
bled out of
absolutely.
that show. But the same kind of vibe where it's just going to take the manic dedication of one person to just get into this game and find all the good
when I
stuff.
first started, I watched that show nonstop as motivation for me to just because I loved like the controlled little experiments about Mega Man 10 and just that whole aspect. It's so fascinating. Or Mega Man 9, Mega Man 10, either one. Bringing Aerith back, like things like that. I
Right.
love that aspect of Pop Fiction, and that's kind of like I can't say my favorite game fan theory, but like that's my favorite show on the internet about myth busting in an actual confined control experiment.
But Mythbusters itself is ending too.
It's ending.
Nothing lasts forever, everyone.
We
Not
gotta
in
get Pop
Mythbusters.
Fiction back, man. They
You,
love
you
it.
could hire him.
But we can't do Pop Fiction. We
That's
can't.
true.
None of us.
No,
it would
obviously.
take 3 of us to do what
Yeah.
he did for one thing. You know,
Oh,
because
man.
He's
because
the
I think
best.
it's not only just the will to do it, and it's not only
He was
the
out of his
ideas of like
mind.
what I'm going to work on but it's really just that culture. Like he just really grew up naturally being obsessed about these things.
Yeah.
And so it's like when we would ask him like, hey, Damiani, what's the next Pop Fiction? He's like, oh, it's this. And we're like, I'm not familiar with that. And I know like he could write a book on it. Like he's so familiar.
Oh, man.
With all of these different things. Let alone just speaking of Nintendo. Like any Zelda rumor, like he could do 50 episodes on.
Yeah.
So.
My favorite one is the one where he connects the Star Fox
Star
and the
Fox.
F-Zero universe.
10 out of 10.
Yes.
He really went out on a limb on that one. It's the best episode.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Everyone should go watch that if you haven't seen it. It is so good.
We love him. This is from Zactivator. Do you have a childhood game that you loved and then later found out was bad?
Oh man, I'm ready to go on the crucifix. I love Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Everyone thinks they're so bad, but I love those games. I don't know why. Everyone thinks that Sonic Adventure for the 1 and 2 for the Dreamcast and GameCube are like the worst things ever created, but every time I play them, I never found any of the glitches or the complaints anyone had. I played the games and I loved them and I still love them. But everyone out there, the internet reminds me that they're bad games, and I highly disagree.
We love Sonic here. We've never said anything ill about Sonic here at Game Trailers. So we're not. we still really get on that bandwagon. It's just not.
Let's talk about Pop Fiction
It's
some
not
more.
hanging fruit. But yeah, it happens. That's the thing about glitches. It's just like unless it's like there's a difference between like glitch is an issue. Like to me, a glitch is something that like, wow, look at this weird thing that just happened. Where like an issue is let me pop this game in and show you this dumb thing that this game does that I can
Right.
just make happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's possible to go through Adventure 1, Adventure 2. Didn't play Adventure 1. Didn't play 2, but played 1, and that was just like. Yeah, the whale level. I would
It
just
was
play that
so
over and over and
good.
over again.
It's
Yeah.
just- the music's great. It's so I don't know. I think everyone.
We'll allow it.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
won't hear any gut from
I'll
us.
take that.
Maybe
I'll
in
take-
chat, but don't look at chat.
I'm with you. I love it too. Sonic
Thank you.
Adventure 1.
Thank you.
Please tweet at Gerard and let him know how bad you think Sonic
JK completes it on
Adventure
Twitter.
is. This is from Like Narwhal. Keeping in the spirit of Halloween, if there was one game, series, or franchise you could bring back from the dead, what would it be?
But they would all be zombies. Everybody,
Yeah.
they'd all be decaying corpses.
Oh man. Is it weird to say Dead Space?
I can safely say that franchise is not working on a sequel right now.
How do we come back from Dead Space 3? What do you like? What's the
How do we come back from Dead Space 3?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's an hour live stream that the people need to sit down and have a serious debate about.
Are you going back to like Roots, or are you going to some other crazy place?
I'd say go back to roots. I think I don't know. I loved Dead Space 2 and revisiting the Ishimura. I think that wherever the third one goes, I think it needs to stay with Isaac. I think that the third one just got too grandiose of like, oh, now they're trying to stop everyone from experiencing this evil thing, and there's now multiple locations, and there's a buddy, and you can see everything during the day, and I think just making it all about Isaac and I think a lot of that kind of ties into not fixing, but repurposing the end of Dead Space 2. I think with Dead Space 2, they kind of like ended Isaac's story with like a bow, and then they were like, oh wait, we have Dead Space 3. There wasn't like enough of a open discussion at the end of that game to be able to explore even a Dead Space 3. So when Dead Space 3 came around, everyone was like, wait, why are we doing this again? Is it just cool, there's 2 of us now and we can play multiplayer Dead Space, but don't call it Dead Space at that point, or call it like Dead Space Extinction,
Silent
Dead
Hills.
Spaces.
Oh yeah.
A live space.
Dead Spaces.
It's like Silent Hills, you just put an S on the end.
Silent Hills. I don't know. I think I'd like to see Dead Space come back. There's a part of me that's like, we can rebuild it. We can make it
we have the
better.
technology.
It was so good and it went away so quickly. I don't know. That's just-
Especially, new gen, new possibilities.
yeah, I'd love to see a Dead Space with the current gen we got going on right now. It'd be awesome.
Because there is something I think also inherently fun about cutting off limbs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we don't talk about that much with Dead Space, but like you get to cut off limbs.
Cutting squirrel limbs off, it's the best.
That's what I was thinking.
The
I
fact
would cut off 1,000 squirrel limbs before I frighten one female.
It's gonna come tomorrow with just squirrel tail.
Hand me a pair of scissors.
Necklace of squirrel tails.
Well,
Squirrel
there's,
teeth.
there's something to say to that too, though, right? Because in Dead Space, it's like it was one of the first horror games where shooting the enemy in the head does not stop it from hurting you. Like that's a real fear to have. Of I have an awesome gun and it's not stopping this scary, weird spider-looking thing. What do I do? Like that's what made it so fun. But yeah, I'd love to revisit Dead Space.
Even like playing RE4, Huber. Like I love like the little like fake out moves that the zombies do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's hilarious that like it's smart enough to fake you out, but then like keeps walking really slowly towards you. You're like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Where like just the movement of the necromorphs, just the way you're like, you spend half the time thinking like,
They get-
what am I
They
even
get
looking
those
at
little
right now?
speed boosts where they just like, run really fast at you. It's awesome.
Yeah.
This is from Garmore. Any game on your to-do list that you are dreading aiming for 100% in?
Oh man, Tales of Symphonia, Skies of Arcadia, Disgaea.
All the ayas.
Yeah, they all end in
any
A.
any JRPG. Aside from, 'cause I just played Chrono Trigger for the first time a few months ago.
Ooh.
I cried. It was so good.
It's a very good game.
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. Any of those like Japanese JRPGs where it's just like prepare for level 755 max grinding all items. Those are the ones I dread the most, I think.
But at least, I mean, you talked about Catherine earlier. At least with those games, you can like grind to a point. Like it can be like 4:30 in the morning, and you're just like, like I'm
Right.
kind of playing this and gaining progress.
Yeah.
Whereas with Catherine, like you can't snooze through any of that. Like you got to be
Oh,
on point
you got-
every single time.
I have learned that caffeine can only help so much.
something like Guitar Hero Rock Band, like you couldn't phone that in. You'd have to
Oh,
be you'd have to
absolutely.
be on top of your game every time.
Absolutely. And I've joked about doing Guitar Hero 3 Completionist, and then I realized that Through the Fire and Flames is on it, and I should probably not do that. Because not even a handful of people can do that.
You need like 2 people do
Speaking
that.
of
Yeah.
completing stuff, Guitar Hero 1 I completed. Every one after that I was like, no, I really want to do a Guitar Hero 2, and
Yeah.
Do you include DLC and stuff?
I sure do.
Okay, but so for like Guitar Hero, it would be like 1,500 other songs.
I generally would wait until the game has like kind of reached its lifespan, which doesn't always happen sometimes with these new games. I've been waiting for Splatoon to stop updating, and that'll never happen. Every week it's like, here's a new weapon that you thought could be used as a paint gun. Like, here's a bucket. Here's a paint carpet. Like,
Splatoon will never end, yeah.
it'll never end.
Have you ever done April Fools?
Oh man.
Just imagine you like World of Warcraft.
Oh man.
Every class,
I've tried
every
to do it-
raid.
I tried one April Fool's video, and people were pissed because it was like, man, like we were waiting for that. It was April Fool's on Skyrim. I did it for like, it aired for like maybe 6 hours, and people were so angry. I pulled it. And I said, I'll just do Skyrim one day. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
And then I did Skyrim. 502 hours.
Oh my god.
Holy crap.
It took me almost 3 years over the course of my career of being the completionist to do it.
So I mean, there's a lot of people out there,
Thank you.
There's a lot of people out there that really look up to YouTubers. I mean, you look at PewDiePie, and every time somebody finds out something financially about him, a contract he signs, or what his bottom line is, everyone's just like, "Oh man, I want to be PewDiePie." Imagine that. I don't think anybody wants to be you. I don't think anyone in their right mind looks at what you task yourself to do every week and is like, "Yes."
Yeah, I think one thing that I've made the mistake on is I've cornered the market of being the completionist, which is great, but like I said,
No wonder no one had the completion.
yeah, no one wants to be me anymore, and that's okay. I get that. I have to learn to pick my battles accordingly, because not every game is the most most optimized for completionists out there. So
But bless you for doing it.
Thank you.
Because damn it, those videos are fun to watch.
someone has to do it.
Yep.
I guess that someone's me.
You're the nicest guy on YouTube.
Oh, thank you.
I just want to like run into your videos when you're apologizing and be like, no, like fuck you, fuck all of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ian, real quick, we got to
I
squeeze
just
one more
wanted to
question
know
in.
If I just wanted to know if you still want to be you.
There are definitely weeks where I'm like, oh man, I gotta find something else. But I definitely love doing what I do. I think there's a gratification at the end of the day where I go, ha, I did it, haters. What did you do today? Oh, you took out the trash and went to your real job? I spent 300 hours playing this game. Ha!
Has anyone ever sent you a trophy or any,
Yeah.
any official recognition?
I think just being able to work with the companies. I work with Nintendo almost exclusively. Every company has offered me a large sum of money, and Nintendo, I've always said, like, don't pay me anything. Just let me be involved with what you guys do, just because Nintendo's just been like my whole life, and to be a part of their history now and doing events with them and getting to review games before anyone else does, that to me is like the best part about it. The fact that Nintendo, when they did Triforce Heroes, they only released like a dozen copies out to you guys got one, and a couple of other YouTubers did, but the fact that they said, here's 5, here's an amount, we're trusting you to say whatever you want, I think that's the best part, and just my fans just letting me be me in that regard.
He's a really nice guy.
I love him. On that note, Sazanami
Let's get a really mean
Style.
question for him then.
Sazanami Style wants to know how you feel about Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door.
I have never played a Paper Mario game.
Ooh.
I have
Oh.
this is so fun. There's so many games.
So you have to do it.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
to.
That'd be
Ooh.
great.
Yeah.
That game.
Great
What is that it? Is that
Which
the one he
which
plays? or
one
does he
is it?
play-
Is it
Thousand Year Door is the
Thousand
big
Year
one.
Door is the one? That's the
Yeah.
Cube one, or the 64 one?
And-
GameCube.
Oh, GameCube.
Cube.
Yeah.
I've done at this point. At the end of November, I'll have reviewed every single 3D Mario game ever created, but I haven't touched any of the Paper Mario series. That's like the one Mario stuff I haven't touched. So I'm super excited to get into it because I know nothing. I know nothing about it.
Oh, it's gonna
I
be
know
so
nothing
fun.
about it.
You're
That
gonna
was
have
a-
a blast.
That was a teaser right there.
Have you done Super Mario RPG?
I have.
Okay.
I love that game. I can speedrun that game and beat it in 4.5 hours, 100%.
100%
100%, 4.5 hours.
Even being that weird Final Fantasy boss?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, Mario RPG is my jam. I love that game.
Do you
It's
ever
so
stream
good.
that? Do you ever just do a 4.5 hour stream and like show the whole thing?
I've done that there's some games where I actually do that. Shovel Knight is one of them.
Yeah.
And I love Shovel Knight. Mario World, I do that all the time, or at least I used to. And Final Fantasy VI, I'm trying to like become legit speedrunning at that. No glitches, just like hammering it out because I freaking love Final Fantasy VI. It's so good.
Is Paper Mario Super Mario RPG 2? Didn't they call it
That's
that?
what everyone says.
Right, isn't it?
Not
Which is
officially.
why
It's not the
I've-
same continuity.
Okay.
Different timelines.
Okay. All right.
That's where it led to, though. Super
Yeah.
Mario RPG 2 turned into Paper Mario, right? That was
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Browncoats85 is desperate to
nerds.
know if you'd be willing to give up ice cream sandwiches or your beard for a whole year.
For a whole year. Oh man. You know, it's funny. The reason why I grow a beard is because I was an actor for many years of my prolific career, if you will. Doing the whole LA hunger thing, and I grew a beard because I was too young to get roles in everything I auditioned for. People would say, "You're too young. Come back when you're older." And so I said, "You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna grow a beard." So I started growing a beard, and I started getting work, and I started getting cast in things, and the more I grew the beard, the more work I got. I'd be the creepy uncle, or the divorced father of 3. Like that's just what I got typecasted as eventually with the beard. And so when I stopped doing like acting and started doing YouTube, I wanted to like keep the beard as like my identity. And so that's why in the intro for the show, I grow the beard after I complete it. So. If I had to give up ice cream sandwiches or a beer, I'd probably give up ice cream sandwiches. That gets.
Wow.
I think I could do. I
Over
could.
facial hair.
Yeah, I could do that. I like my beard. I look like.
Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches?
Well, look, that detail was not included in this offer. All right, that's
cream
a
sandwich
that's a
hype.
that's a different debate right there.
Good on questions?
There are more, but
There are tons of questions.
yeah,
But
there's-
If you guys have questions, tweet at me on Twitter. I'll try and respond as I can.
And they can find you, just to wrap things up, they can find you, that's up there. JK completes it.
JK completes on Twitter, youtube.com/thatonevideogamers, and hey, it's that one video gamer. Mostly because the completionist was already taken, but
Ah.
yeah.
But it sounds like, yeah, you don't, completionist is something you really focus on, but it sounds like you're doing all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah,
You can find it all over the place.
I executive produce now 5 YouTube channels out of my office. Yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah, I have a website, I have a community, I have streams, and YouTube is kind of where the bread and butter is right now. But I'm always working on something fun. I've always got something in the pipes. I've got a super secret project coming out at the end of November. I'll tease a little bit right now. I'm producing an album. I'm producing a music album. It's nothing I've ever done before, but it's got some crazy minds. It involves Grant Kirkhope, the composer of Banjo-Kazooie, and it also involves Jake Kaufman, the composer of Shovel Knight. So that's coming out at the end of November. It's going to be incredibly different, so I'm really excited to see what people think. But yeah, thank you guys.
Wow, that's really exciting, man.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing that with us. That's
Absolutely,
cool.
thank you.
Damn, I'm getting all excited about all sorts of crazy things now. I want to play Chrono Trigger again. Really quick, I just want to talk about stuff that's going on game trailers that you can check out this week. We have our own resident Mario Maker nut named Don Casanova, and Don created his show, Don's Design Lab, which we've done 2 episodes of, correct? They've gone
Yeah,
up?
Don's a wonderful man.
And he's got a bunch of levels ready to go. Specifically, there was a haunted level. What was this?
Haunted Fleet.
Haunted Fleet
Yeah.
was the name of his level, so you can
And
check out the latest episode of that.
Bosman bird dogged me that whole level.
Whoa. Don't look at Kyle for apologies. What are you doing? What are you doing? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. As I mentioned, our countdown for this week is the top 10 scariest moments in games. This is definitely one that I want to hear your reactions to, our picks, as well as what you think are the top 10 scariest moments in the game. So please reach out to us on Twitter and Facebook, or you can comment on the video on our website and on YouTube. Tons of reviews going on. I reviewed Triforce Heroes Life is Strange. You just approved. That's why you were the ghost version of you was sitting in the chair when the show started.
Yeah.
But Life is Strange is going up today. Paranormal Activity, we checked out the VR version. Mr. Huber, one sentence review. What'd you think?
What's up?
One sentence review of Paranormal Activity VR.
Intimate.
What was it, a game or was it just
Yeah,
a
it was
movie?
a game.
It was a
The
game.
VR
Yeah.
experience.
Huh.
Separate continuity from the films.
Okay.
But it is in the vein of PT.
Okay.
So you're in the house. They give you like two sticks to use, and one of the sticks is movement, and you can like move your arms, move your hands, pick up a flashlight, kind of wave it around. It's intense.
Was it Sony VR or just Oculus?
It was on HTC.
Okay.
They said it's going to be on other. They didn't specify which ones, but it's going to be on others.
It's too bad VR just isn't kicking this October, because like I would just love to play scary VR games all month.
I think we're so close though.
I know.
feel
Next October for sure.
Yeah.
We're all going to be doing all sorts of horrible things in front of our eyes. Halo 5 Guardians review finally went up. A little bit of delay on that. Most everybody had delay on that because we didn't actually get to test out the multiplayer. But multiplayer has been tested. The final score has been issued. I'm going to be back on GT Time tomorrow. I was gone last week. And Huber Hype, Final Bossman, and Mandatory Update all have new episodes this week. Tomorrow we are, speaking of spooky games, tomorrow we are playing The Park, which just came out, which is just like an hour, right? That's a super short game. That's something we can get through on that stream.
It's pretty cool.
And another spooky game, spooky in its difficulty, at the very least, Castlevania Bloodlines will be played and finished. Talk about completing it.
Ooh, yeah.
We will be playing from start to finish, full playthrough Friday.
Awesome.
Castlevania Bloodlines. And if you missed it Monday night, we played a bunch of spooky games. You can catch those on Archive, and I believe those are on our YouTube channel. You can check out us playing spooky games. We stayed up until midnight playing stuff. Undead Nightmare was my favorite one. I played the Halloween portion of Bully, so I'm a big Rockstar fan. So yeah, lots of spooky stuff happening this week. Anything else you want to tell people about? You talk about 5 channels, you got an album coming out. Is there any other updates?
Yeah, I got one more announcment. Sure, why not? I am officially partnering with Nintendo to do a man versus game stream, essentially. Not the Twitch streamer man versus game, but it's me versus Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS. I'm going to be streaming that every day until I complete it, starting in November or December. So Nintendo is going to be sponsoring it. They're going to be giving away a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS game codes, and I got Shovel Knight devs giving codes away. So it's going to be a streaming extravaganza. I'm going to at least 5 to 7 hours a day until I'm done with the game. So
It's still going to be a year.
yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's 250 hours
Oh my God.
supposedly. So
You're completing it, right? You're
completing it and streaming it at the same time while capturing footage for my coverage.
So are you doing any of your other regular content while you're doing that?
Absolutely,
Or-
I will
oh
be.
My
Yes,
gosh.
I've got a team of 9 people who help me sleep. Really, if they let me have my life back. My girlfriend is very patient with me because of how much I have to work. But yeah, I'm a very busy guy.
Well, I think that's obvious to anybody who sees all of the stuff that you produce, and you produce really good stuff, and we really appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you. Thank you
coming
for
on the
having me.
show.
This was a blast.
This was
Yeah.
awesome.
Happy
Please
Halloween,
come
everybody!
back.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Kyle. What? One more thing, Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's a whole. Wait. Oh, whoa. Hey. There's a whole. Whoa. Oh.
Decoration.
Oh, there he was. Hey.
Why don't you kill it? Why don't you put a bullet in its head?
Yeah, thank you for stopping by a peculiar decorated Halloween episode. Thank you for talking to people in chat.
thanks for
Thank you
having
for
me.
comments. I hope you guys got good codes. And we will be back next week. Thank you, Huber, for playing Fatal Frame. Thank you, Ian, for try-casting. And thank you again, man, for stopping by.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always
Thank
good
you
to
guys
see
for
you.
having me.
And thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week. Happy Halloween.